on immediately.
I will love you forever. Sweet, sweet, sweet Dominica. You'll always be my lover. Downtown when the market will blaze, the natural vibes and the nurturing ways, the beautiful sight and the children them a gaze. The culture is lit and the festival beat. The spirit is high and the rastas are higher. All due respect to the nature island kaya. Sweet, sweet, sweet Dominica. I will love you forever. Sweet, sweet, sweet Dominica. You'll always be my lover. Red is the earth where the Caribs are birth. Whitey Kubuli is the original turf. That's what it was called before Columbus emerged. Sugar cane, the cocoa, butter, milk and honey. That's what we ate, that's why we're strong and healthy. Sweet, sweet, sweet Dominica. I will love you forever.
For sure, I'll be loving my country, Dominica, forever. Sweet, sweet, sweet Dominica. Land of abundance of water. As I said, several colors or different shades of green. Mountainous. The agouti di manico. The abolo. The lizards. You can get a goat somewhere, you can get a cow somewhere, a pig. Don't talk about our local foods, local dishes. So in a while we'll be joining the Honorable Prime Minister. You know, like in the social media, sometimes when you're not the best in it, and from a distance. So just hold tight. A country that is one of a kind.
Rivière de l'île verte.
Sweet, sweet, sweet Dominica. I will love you forever. Sweet, sweet, sweet Dominica. You'll always be my lover. Your golden sunshine on my mind all the time. The rain on the rooftop that I left behind. Green are the trees and relaxing breeze. We have the real 96 degrees. The wonderful smile on the faces of the people. Delicious foods and the living is simple. Sweet, sweet, sweet Dominica.
Okay.
I will love you forever. Sweet,
we're going to start our streaming now.
You'll always be my lover.
So we're now going to start our stream of the Honorable Prime Minister, who is already live on social media. So we just have to say good evening to the Honorable Prime Minister. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you, Cecil, and I see the brain. And of course, good evening to all Dominicans listening to DBS Radio this evening.
Well, PM, you know what I want to do? What I would like you to do for me, please, is to put on your camera. I'm seeing Roosevelt Skerrit, but I'm not seeing the face of Roosevelt Skerrit. I'm seeing the name Roosevelt Skerrit. So just put on your camera so the rest of the country can see you. Yes, that's you. All right.
You can see me now.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Nice smile.
I'm not as handsome as you. I don't want to lose my face. You on brain and the brain on.
And it is really.
But Cecil, I wanted to just to say a few words, and of course you. I'm not as handsome as you. I don't want to lose my face. You on brain and the brain on.
And it is really.
But Cecil, I wanted to just to say a few words, and of course, you feel free to ask me questions that you wish. But this evening, I really want to salute all Dominicans, particularly residents of the Eastern Districts, from Wesley back to Castle Bruce and the surrounding communities, who were battered today by this weather system. I was out there, as you know, and I saw the resilience and determination of our people. I want to say this evening, Dominica and Dominicans shall prevail. We have walked this road before. We have fought and triumphed over adversity, and we shall do it again this time around. This evening, I want to say that no matter how challenging and daunting your experience was today, it could have been worse. We got a hard knock, but it could have been worse. I have called a special meeting of cabinet for this evening because we intend to hit the road tomorrow morning running. I've already spoken to our regional international partners, and I want to say to those severely impacted by this weather system, your government is on the job. We shall visit, we shall assess, and we shall assist. This evening, I want to appeal to neighbors to be neighbors. Don't wait for a call. Don't wait for someone to come knocking. If you see someone in distress, or if you see a dangerous situation developing, jump in and lend a helping hand. Open your doors to your neighbors. Open your yard to your neighbors' animals. Be a good neighbor this evening and for the next few days, and give us an opportunity to assess conditions and formulate a response mechanism. This evening, I want also to salute our public officers, especially those in ministries responsible for roads and drainage, as well as utilities, water and electricity. And also to the power-ups concerned, from Wesley to Marigot to the Calnago Terrace Albia, and of course, the Castle Bruce. I saw you today. I saw your valiant efforts. I saw your passion and determination to help however you can. This is commendable. This is pleasing to the eyes and the soul, for this is Dominican. This is how we treat each other in times of crisis. This is what makes us strong and resilient. So, my dear Dominicans, do not ask why us. We shall play the hand we have been dealt. Let us consider for a moment that there are not many around us here in Dominica who can respond in the flick of an eye to a crisis such as this. Tonight, we have been thrown a challenge, and together we shall confront and overcome it. Please be safe on the roads out there. Please guard against live electricity wires. Do not go tampering. If in doubt, leave out. And so I want to say to us here in Dominica tonight that we are on the ball, and this government will respond as we have on many occasions to the impacts of natural disasters on the livelihoods, the lives, and our community. Thank you, Cecil.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Also, too, Mr. Prime Minister, that you spoke highly on the eastern side of Dominica, but we are aware that rain fell in other parts of Dominica. Are you able to really help us to know exactly what happened in other parts of the country?
Well, the other parts, rain fell, but nothing really of noting on the west coast of Dominica. The brunt of the impact was on the northeast and eastern districts. For example, you can't get into Castle Bruce. We have mobilized equipment to clear the landslides. We've also mobilized equipment to clear the landslides going to Atkinson after Pegwa, going up this hill to Trizzle. A slide came up. We have the Chinese CR5 on the airport who have volunteered to go there this evening to clear this, to allow for vehicular access. We have landslides being cleared in Marigot. We have mobilized several
pieces of equipment. While I was there in Marigot, we had already cleared Sam's Gutter to allow vehicular traffic.
The gentlemen there were doing a fantastic job, mobilize themselves, recognizing that today's Sunday. So we have equipment coming from all parts of Dominica to go into the Stanley constituency, to the Carligo territory, to Castle Bruce, to ensure that all roads are accessible very early tomorrow. So I want to thank all of them for that. I want to thank the Minister for Public Works, who has been doing a fantastic job in coordinating these efforts, and I made it proud from Marigot on the scene as well. So everybody's playing their part, and that is important. But of course we had situations, Cecil, where some homes got I could say destroyed because the slide took them away. I was able to speak to one of the homeowners this evening. One can appreciate these are new homes that the people just built. They were enjoying the homes, and here come a natural disaster. And this is not even a hurricane, eh? This is not a hurricane, but we understand how these natural disasters are impacting our livelihoods and our way of life in Dominica. But rest assured, we'll be there to support those who've been impacted.
You said we are not into the hurricane season as yet, but an advisory was given. How did you think the Dominican public, especially the people in the Eastern District, how do you think that they took that advisory?
Well, I mean, the rain came. Rain has been falling. And we have to understand the impact of climate change on Dominica. Now, 15 years ago, you would get a whole week of rain and no flooding. But now, with the advent of climate change, it has changed. Our way of life has changed. And so rain has been falling for the entire day from yesterday afternoon, actually, in some parts, especially in the east of Dominica. And of course, the saturation of the soil was compromised. And we have these major slides in those parts. And so the people, I think everyone took precaution because we have had no injuries. And I thank God for that. And people were just waiting for the rain to stop, to subside, so that they themselves could go out and venture out and assess for themselves what needed to be done. And that's what's happening now in Dominica.
I know that you have always found yourself on the ball of things. In reference to agriculture and livelihoods of others, I know that you're not aware as to how many farmers that will have been affected tonight at this time as we speak. But what plans do you have in place as a government for those farmers?
Well, first of all, we're going to have to do the assessment. I have received a preliminary report from the Office of Disaster Management, and we'll discuss it tonight at the cabinet meeting. But we're going to be doing more detailed assessments tomorrow. So all of the various government agencies that are tasked with doing the necessary assessments for the government will be done tomorrow. So we'll have a better picture and a better understanding of the extent of the impact. But I want to assure people, I want to assure the residents that the government is going to be there with them, that assistance will come. I will be out there myself, leading the cabinet tomorrow and the public officers tomorrow for us to do our own evaluation and assessment and to ensure that we can provide assurances to those who've been impacted. So tomorrow morning, we'll be back on the road. Tomorrow
you'll be back on the road, but we know with the whole issue of climate change, climate resilience, your government has gone through quite a lot. Give us some plans as Prime Minister going forward, knowing especially we're coming into the hurricane season.
Well, what we've been talking about, Cecil, is the issue of building resilience. These natural disasters are going to come because the powers that be, that is to say the developed countries, are not prepared to take the actions they need to take to mitigate or minimize the impact of climate change on us, or the causes of climate change on us and the impact on us. And therefore, it is left to us as countries, Dominica included, to put mitigation systems in place. And I am happy that the infrastructure that we put in place in Castle Bruce for the Carligo territory held up very, very nicely. And this is what we'll be talking about. That when we put infrastructure in place, we build homes, we build schools, we build health centers. We are building them with resilience in mind. That these storms are going to come, but when they come, we'll be in a better position to withstand them, and we'll be able to bounce back quicker. Obviously, with the landslides, the land slippages, these things happen, and these things cost money. I recall in 2022 when we had a similar situation with trough system in the Castle Bruce, Good Hope, PD Soufriere, Sansover area. It cost us over $4.6 million just to clear landslides. And one can appreciate how much it's going to cost us to clear this landslide. I mean, I went to Marigot, and you have this massive landslide next to the Marigot Fisheries Complex, and so it is for us to continue to build resilience, because clearly the developed world will not take the action that actions that are required and necessary, and therefore it's for us to build resilience in our economy, in our infrastructure, and that is what this government has been doing since really Erica, and more so after Maria, and that continues in everything we do so far as our infrastructure, where our infrastructure is concerned.
Now, you said that you're going to be meeting with your cabinet this evening, and in reference to that meeting this evening with the cabinet, are you ruling out, or are you going to include the use of the schools for shelters, or are there going to be school tomorrow in these areas?
Well, there are a couple of families that are in shelters, and we have been able to open the shelters for them. So that's in place. More than likely, there will not be school for that part of the country tomorrow. And of course, the Minister for Education will issue a statement on this evening. But it's very unlikely that we will have school in Marigot, Concord, Atkinson, and Salibu and Castle Bruce. It's very unlikely because within Castle Bruce and within the Salibu constituency, you have many obstacles, and we want to ensure that while we're clearing the roads that no one is placed in any harm's way. So it would be better for students to stay home. So certainly there will not be school from Castle Bruce go back to Castle Bruce area, but there'll be an official statement issued by the minister this evening following the cabinet meeting tonight.
Also, in reference to labor, because if you're speaking about education and the transporting of people, there are people who are living in those areas, working in the city of Roseau. What would you now have to say to these people? Well. I'm hoping that the private sector will put systems in place for its employees. Insofar as the government employees are concerned, we'll be discussing that this evening, and a statement will be issued on this. Again, as a government, our priority is people's safety, and we do not want to place anybody in any harm's way. And so a statement will also be issued on the issue of work for public officers residing in those areas. No, and you also said in your statement that you are reaching out to your regional partners and your international partners. What type of language would you be speaking with these people?
Well, we've reached out to them to inform them of the impact of this storm. So we've had conversations throughout the day. There's some who've offered to do assessments for us and who have indicated to us that they'll be there with us. And of course, we'll continue. Once we get the assessments, we will be able to provide that to them because I always prefer to have a proper assessment done to submit so that we can follow up on those conversations that we had today.
Okay, Mr. Prime Minister, you have also mentioned in your statement this evening that the need for financial assistance or financial preparation, and also the continuation of investment in climate infrastructure. And what is the way forward at the heels of this situation this evening?
Well, I mean, we're dealing with the hand that we've been dealt with. I mean, we don't sit down and cry in the corner. As this government has provided leadership in the country, especially in difficult moments like this. And this government has been tested for the last 12 years. I mean, look at the number of natural disasters that we've had. And what this government has done in response to those natural disasters and the national, regional, international commendation that we've received in terms of our leadership, in terms of our strategy, in terms of our national plan, in terms of our vision to indicate that we'll be building the world's first climate resilient nation and putting the necessary legislative and financial system in place to seek to achieve that, and the tremendous successes that we've had. Dominicans know that when this country is faced with an adversity, the fact that this Labour Party government is in place, people feel comfortable. People feel like, well, yes, Skerrit is there, Labour is there, we should be all right. And I assure them that our attitude and our behavior to this natural disaster will be no different in the way that we behaved. And the leadership that we provided and the guidance that we provide as a government to the people during those difficult moments that we've experienced, and there's evidence, the tangible evidence, the visible evidence across the country to see how this government has responded to natural disasters and to ensure that people's livelihoods are restored, and that we have an empathetic attitude towards people in distress.
No, you made mention of your government in trying to get Dominica to be the first.
Just to tell you that I have to leave in a couple of minutes because I have to go to cabinet. So
yes, I'm just going to ask you this okay? one last question. Yeah. It's in reference to your government stating, and you stating that you want Dominica to be the first resilient country in the world. Where is your government at this time on this one?
The evidence is there. I mean, not only in terms of the physical infrastructure, but in terms of our fiscal policies, in terms of our legislative enactments, in terms of our health system, in terms of our education system. I mean, every home, for example, that we have built since Maria is of a resilient nature. This is why there's a fewer number of people need to be accommodated in shelters, and of course we also built for that purpose. For those who need shelters, we built regional centers because the whole idea is to ensure that, as far as practically possible, we do not use schools as hurricane shelters. That we have dedicated structures for that, as we have in Cassibus, as we have in Jimmet, as we have in Layo, as we're doing in the Caligo territory now. With an $8.7 million facility that we're building now in the Caligo territory, and that will continue in different parts of the country. And of course, the schools that we're building, every single school that we've built, it takes into consideration this resilience nature in place. Our agricultural policies, what we plant and when we plant it and how we plant it and where we plant it, all of those things are taken into consideration our resilience. If a natural disaster hits us, what type of foods that we need to have planted, especially during hurricane season, and if we impacted, all of those things that the Ministry of Agriculture take into consideration. This is why we set up the National Lab, Agricultural Lab in Portsmouth, 1 mile, so that we have more resilient planting material that can withstand the negative impact of climate change by way of pests and diseases which accompany these natural disasters from time to time. And so even ensuring that if school is disrupted, that students can continue to have access to tuition, because we have a technology system in place to allow for children to have remote learning and teachers to teach remotely. So tonight is not a night to go into such details. Our focus is on the East now, on the people who are in distress, the farmers who've been impacted, the homeowners who've been impacted, the small businesses who have been impacted, people who will not be able to go to school, students who will go to school tomorrow, and to ensure that we clear the roads as quickly as possible, so that by Tuesday they can be back in school, that the farmers whose access to the farms and to markets have been impacted, that in the shortest possible time frame that we can get this going. The small business lady the restaurant owner in Marigot, who's been impacted again by a slide, that the government can come in and assist her in putting some mitigation system in place so that she can continue to earn a living for herself and her family. Those kinds of things that we are focusing on tonight and going in the next few days and nights. A person who took a mortgage to build a home, and in a twinkle of an eye, this home is no longer habitable. no longer habitable. And so these are the things that are preoccupying my mind and that of the government tonight, and certainly in the next few days, so that we can move very quickly to provide support to those families and to ensure that the communities affected receive the support that they need, so that their lives and livelihoods can be restored in the shortest possible time. And this is where we're moving on. So I can tell you, these things, they affect you as a leader of the country, because you now have to divert resources from one thing to another to this impact. But I am energized because I want to ensure that the government responds, as always, with alacrity, with speed, and with efficiency, to meet the people where they are and to ensure that we can restore their lives and livelihoods. What is required from the country now, from our citizens, is for us to be our neighbor's keeper in the true sense of it, and to ensure that those who are in distress, that if we are able to provide them with some relief, let us step in. That our neighbors have animals that are not safe where they are and they want to use our yards, let us allow them to have the animals for the night or the next couple of nights. So those are some of the things that we need to do. A drain is blocked in front of our home, that we can get a shovel and a wheelbarrow that we have in our yard, in our home, that we can use it to clear the drain, and to ensure that the water flows off the surface of the road and into the gutters and to the ravines. So these are the things that we should focus on. The bigger picture of resilience and so forth, this has been very clearly articulated by this government over the last 8 years. And we've been seeing all of these elements of the national strategy unfolding before our very eyes in Dominica. And remember, Cecil, that you and Brain and every Dominican said that it would have taken us 20 years to rebuild Dominica after Hurricane Maria. And some felt that Dominica would never rebound at all. And in a very short space of time, by the grace of God, we were able to bounce back. And now we are a poster child in terms of responding to natural disasters, in terms of resilience. We popularized the word resilience, and in tangible and practical ways. So I want to thank you, Cecil, and DBS Radio, for allowing me to update the nation on this weather system and the impact on the eastern districts of Dominica, the northeastern district of Dominica, and to let you know that God is with us, and once God is with us, we certainly will overcome. And this government is standing side by side with the people who have been impacted and the communities have been impacted by these natural disasters, and I will be personally leading the charge on behalf of the government with the support of the ministers and the public officers concerned. So thank you so much. I want to say to everyone in Dominica, let us be our neighbors' keeper, they said. Let us look out for each other, and this is a time for us to be constructive, positive in our criticism and our advice. Anybody who has a suggestion as to how we can better respond, let us speak about those things. But negativity, this is not a time for this or for that. Just to say finally on the airport was not impacted. There was a catchment area. Obviously, if you have a catchment area and rain falls like this, it will fill up. But that area will be connected to a water catchment eventually. So we'll be mindful of this, so it doesn't no impact on the airport, or airport washed away, and some people even celebrating this, which is really silly of those who are doing that. But there's no real impact on the airport itself.
Just want to say to you, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much for giving us your time and to inform the nation of the condition in the Eastern District of Dominica. And I just want to say, when you meet your ministers of government, I just want to say, let's make sure that everything goes well for you and your cabinet.
Thank you so much. And of course, it's not ready for us, it's ready for those who were impacted. Our focus is on those who were impacted. And this will be our focus over the next couple of days. So thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you, and have a good evening yourself. All right. So we were just speaking of the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit on the situation in the Eastern District. As you heard him said that in the Eastern District, the weather really battered these people. The weather condition was bad.